va vous présenter le travail qui est fait chez Nielsen Music Connect. Alors, ce que c'est que ça vous fournit finalement des données très détaillées qui proviennent vraiment d'une multitude de sources. Et ce qui est très intéressant dans ce cas-ci, c'est que c'est géographiquement ciblé et qu'on réussit de cette manière-là à saisir certaines tendances, parce que c'est toujours ça qui est un peu le nerf de la guerre, saisir des tendances nationales, saisir des tendances internationales. Et donc, aujourd'hui, pour vous parler, je vous présente nos deux conférenciers, donc Paul Shaver et Chantale Coulombe. Paul Shaver est dans le milieu musical depuis plus de 25 ans. Il a déjà travaillé chez Virgin Music Canada, EMI Music Canada, également Universal Music Canada. Donc, il connaît un petit peu ce domaine-là. Il pourra certainement vous entretenir tout à l'heure, à la suite, si vous avez des questions que vous ne pourrez pas poser au micro. Il est maintenant dirigeant donc, de Nielsen Music Canada. Avec M. Shaver, vous avez Chantale Coulombe, qui est représentante aux ventes de Nielsen Recherche Médias Canada. Donc, en fait, elle coordonne les relations avec les clients du côté des annonceurs, des médias et des agences, et ce, tant au niveau provincial que national. Donc, elle a une solide expertise en analyse et en vente d'outils de recherche média. Alors, une conférence très intéressante qui débute à l'instant. Je cède la parole à M. Paul Shaver et Chantale Coulombe.
Thank you very much. Bonjour. I always get sorry, my French is not very good, so I brought my dear friend Chantale with me to help me out. I will endeavor to speak as slowly as I can so you understand, and if you don't, at any moment, please raise your hand, and Chantale is here to help and assist. I always get a little taken back when they do those intros and all these companies I worked for. I want to be on the record that I didn't work at all those companies and leave all the time. Every company was acquired, so I'm a very loyal employee, but we were purchased all the way along, so I just want to put that out there for everyone. I want to thank Jerome for having us at this. I had the pleasure of meeting him at the publishing event that took place, the forum in Toronto. We did a very similar presentation for a number of publisher associations and artists and companies in Toronto, and Jerome asked if we would be willing to come in and do this for your first time having this forum. We were very honored to be invited to take part in this with yourselves. Over at Nielsen Music, we have a number of new initiatives. I'm going to throw over to Chantale to give a kind of top-line overview within our PowerPoint presentation before we jump into our new Connect demonstration that we're going to do. So I'll throw it over to Chantale.
Bonjour tout le monde. Alors chez Nielsen, c'est une grosse machine qui produit beaucoup de données dans plusieurs domaines. Notre présentation aujourd'hui, c'est vraiment ciblé sur la musique, la mesure de la musique. Et ce qu'on fait chez Nielsen, dans tous les départements, c'est de connecter le consommateur avec les produits, connecter les audiences pour bien comprendre qui on rejoint avec nos produits, nos services. Alors, dans cette présentation-là, ce qu'on vient faire, c'est connecter les ventes de la musique avec des recherches consommateurs. Donc, est-ce qu'on a rejoint les bons consommateurs et quelles sont les ventes au niveau de chaque chanson, de chaque artiste et de chaque marché? Alors, on travaille avec différents partenaires. Donc, au Québec, c'est surtout à travers plein de niveaux de l'industrie. Select, Québécois, la Disque, Evenco, c'est des exemples. Là. Le palmarès, c'est des exemples de clients avec qui on travaille chez Nielsen Music.
And a part of that partnership, we're very proud to be the official data provider and partner with some big Canadian music shows, including the Galley Disc Awards. My friend Liette is here in the room. The Junos, which is coming up this current weekend in Ottawa. And we also handle the Country Music Awards and the CMR Radio Awards, which is affiliated with Canadian Music Week in Toronto.
Nielsen est présent un petit peu partout dans le monde. On est présentement, on mesure dans à peu près 22 marchés, 22 pays dans le monde. Ce que ça vous donne, c'est des données pour différents marchés. Je vais laisser Paul expliquer différents marchés.
Yeah, and over 20 international markets within the Music Connect platform now we're going to show you. You can see digital single sales in over these 20 marketplaces. It'll soon be incorporating streaming into the dashboard as well with these marketplaces. And also within North America, we have U.S. Sales Airplay streaming data. Connect is available in both markets. And we also have Airplay data in Latin America and Mexico. So it's a very robust, depending on your needs and what you require. Within Nielsen BDS Radio, we monitor over 2,000 stations in North America, 260 of them in Canada. We have over 43 stations in the Quebec marketplace that we monitor, along with Sirius and satellite radio. 1,600 more stations in the US. We feature real-time monitoring, full 7-day, weekly, and daily data feeds. You can also get first played alerts. If you have a song that's associated with an artist that's writing on a certain song, you could actually program in when the first time a radio station has played your song, so you can kind of keep on top of what's going on as opposed to waiting for them to tell you. You can do overall activity reports on a song. We flag for CanCon and we flag for French language. The key with French language, it's not French con. If both CanCon and French language are checked, then you get your French con. But basically, because the rules are different for the Quebec marketplace, it's not about French con, it's about French language. And then we also have a platform which is a really handy piece for our PROs and publishers is a BDS Radio Archive, where we can actually create a daily feed, a quarterly archive feed, and send it to you of total spins, total audience for US and Canada. And those metrics, depending on what you need, it could be artist, song, label, day part, it's really what you need in a data feed is what we could pull in and supply to yourselves. We have many of our partners on automatic data feeds, including our friends at SOCAN, Solprac, they're involved with us, and we send them quarterly feeds on what's going on, as well as resound on AirPlay, and those are very customizable depending on your needs. Oh, which one is next? Oh, we got the wrong one. There we go. Yeah. Sorry, that's you.
C'est juste un exemple de thought leadership que Nielsen produit. On produit en fait dans tous les secteurs d'activité où on est présent. On essaie de produire du marché des données gratuites, des rapports qui vont examiner, faire un overview de l'activité de ce département-là, si je peux dire. Chez Nielsen Music, ils font à chaque année une étude canadienne des habitudes de consommation des gens pour la musique, spécifiquement pour la musique, dépendamment des auditoires, combien de temps ils passent en streaming. Donc ça, c'est juste un exemple là, de rapports qui peuvent sortir et qui est disponible en ligne sur le site web.
And the main reason we're here is for the launch of our new Music Connect platform. Basically, in the past, Nielsen has had several different products from BDS Radio to SoundScan, the old legacy system, and they all were independent systems of one another. Now we have Music Connect, which aggregates all the data together in one dashboard. So it brings together AirPlay, sales, streaming, artist socials, markets, charts, all in one platform. It has we have available in both Canada and the US right now. We will be expanding it out to other marketplaces, but we're quite excited about it. Everything, depending on the platform you're in, US or Canada, you're looking at that local data. The only piece in the platform that is a global perspective is the socials, the artist social feeds that come in. And that's really because we'll never drill on a regional level there, because unfortunately, we don't have the admin rights for those artist dashboards to be able to get that granular information. So it's really meant to be kind of a top, I call it a 30,000 foot view down to kind of give a glance as to what's happening with the artist on a social landscape. So without further ado, we're going to go into Music Connect platform. And this is the dashboard. Oh, what's going on? Why are you not connecting? Maybe we need to close it off. Probably what it is. Hopefully it comes up now. Do you know why it's not coming up? The screen is not coming up on the.
Try and drag it.
Oh, there it is. It wasn't on. How do we expand it now? I need to expand it. Oh.
Look at this part. Yeah.
It's going to be hard for me to do the demo this way. Oh, well, okay. Okay, so this is the dashboard. Bear with me because I'm used to looking on the screen. Now I have to look up here. This is the home page of Music Connect platform. As you can see over here, the login, you can have access to either marketplace. It's a quick switch of playing on where you're going to be. You just change the flag icon. We will stay in Canada for now. And I don't know if anyone ever had traditional SoundScan or legacy platform. It's still around, it still exists, but it's a very clunky search mechanism. It all depended how the metadata was loaded up from the owner of the content that sent it to us. Whether it was artist name first, last name first, album title. It was very complicated, and you had to search it the way it was sent to us. Music Connect, much greater system. It doesn't matter how you type it. You can, 3 fields of view in Music Connect: an artist view, album view, and a song view. And the more you keep typing, the more smarter it gets for you. So I'm going to go to my dear old friend here, Bobby Bazzini. The more you keep typing, you'll see it keeps pumping it out more and more and more. So if I kept typing Bobby's album or song, it keeps filtering it more and further and further. So I'm going to click on Bobby's name as an artist. And now these are the metrics that you see up top. So basically, because we're at the artist level, the metrics at the top here are for a week's snapshot worth of data in Canada. So what we default to in the main dashboard here, and there's more down below which we'll get to, sales. So it's equivalent sales with TEAs. If not everyone's aware of that, that takes albums and track equivalents. Track equivalents are 10 digital singles equate to 1 album. And those are metrics that are set by our associations, not Nielsen's, and we've adopted them. So that's basically, that tells you that in this period, Bobby Bazzini as a whole, his entire catalog, sold 622 units this period, down 6.9% from last period, and he's done 339,000 to date. So that ATD stands for activity to date. Used to call it a life to date, but we're trying to round out the terminology, being that it's more a consumption-based world these days. Then we go over on to streaming. Basically, this is streaming on demand total. This takes into consideration audio and video. Our friends at Google would be in this number. So once again, this past week, we had 185,000 streams. And there's your difference. Airplay, we show it at audience level in this dashboard. You can look at, we'll go further on a station and market level in a report we have in the platform. So he has 1.5 million audience this week. And there's your global social feed, basically. 1.35 thousand this period for Bobby on a global level. And then, now that we're in this area, this shows you what his top 5 albums were as an artist for the same period. And we'll click on one of them in a second. And conversely, these are his top 5 songs for the same period. As soon as you click on one, the information all recalibrates, and it's strictly about that piece of product that you're on. So I'm going to go to Summer Is Gone, his current album. Now, as you can see, the metrics have all changed. They're all a little bit smaller because now we're strictly looking at this album right now, Summer's Gone, which was released on November 11th, 2016. And at any time, you can favorite your artist. You can also set up favorite buckets, as many as you'd like. You'd classify it so I can drop it in wherever I want. And then, so I won't go through the metrics, I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but over here now, with the legacy system of SoundScan, when you had multiple versions of a release, whether it's an iTunes exclusive, an Archambault exclusive, whatever, a vinyl, we aggregated that all together to one weekly number and could not break it out for you. Now we have the ability to let you know what that album would be, or a song that's on an album that a writer of yours may have been involved with. And I'll show you the song level as well that breaks it down to an ISRC level. So basically this tells you that I don't, as a content owner, the individuals would know what that UPC is meaning, whether it's the iTunes or the vinyl, et cetera, but good that you can see it. I'll come to a song level in a second. It's hard to see over here what's going on. I gotta be able to scroll down now. So basically, we give you an 8-week performance trend graph. You can switch back at any time in the calendar. You just pick it. It defaults to the current week, obviously, but it gives you an 8-week rolling trend. Because the world of Canada is very funding friendly, graphs don't always mean everything to everybody, you can easily switch over to straight units to give you the exact metric that you need for maybe an application you may be working on. I'll go back to the bar graph. And once again, it just defaults to audience, airplay, on-demand total, albums with TEAs. At any time, you can click on a box and it'll immediately overlay that new metric for you in there. And then we do have a little caret here that kind of gives you a little breakdown of to what the meaning is for each. So once again, we adopt these because we're at the album level. Just a reminder, 10 tracks equate to 1 album. On the streaming side, 1,500 streams equate to 1 album. If we were at the song level, it would be 150 streams equate to 1 song, and that goes along with the new certifications for golden level and platinum certification of songs on streaming. We've adopted those. So as we go down in the platform here, every time you see a little, what I call it a caret, you can expand it. I'll expand it as we get down below. But basically what these fields mean across everywhere, it's once again this period, your percentage change, last period, the year to date, self-explanatory to January 1st, and your activity to date. The key with the activity to date, it goes back, if you have an older album back that got released, in the 2000s, we cascade this information on physical all the way back to 1996 in this report. Digital goes back to, I think iTunes was 2006 if I'm not mistaken, and then streaming we go back to July 2014 when it all came into the marketplace. So all that historic is there and then what I call the permission-based side of this now is basically what it means. These providers that we have, they permission us as to what we can expose the data to people who are customers of ours. So here, for Bobby Bazzini, if I'm lucky to be Universal, I can see all this extra data down below basically in the dashboard. So I can see Archambault sales for the week, HMV, Renault Bray, Walmart. They allow us to expose that data to, it casts a fairly wide net right now. If you're lucky enough to be a part of any of the major distributors, which could be the 3 majors, or a select, they allow any of the labels who are associated with those labels to see that data, which is great news. And then a bit further here, we'll keep going down to what everyone really wants to see is streaming. So in the streaming program world, we do the exact same thing again. You can look at it either audio or video. I'm going to break it down by provider here. Oh, I'm in the program. Sorry, I'm in the wrong one. Let's go here to on demand. So once again, you can see it further. What you're seeing now, if you're not through one of the big major distributors, this is the view you will see. Our friends at Slacker and Spotify and YouTube are fine with anyone seeing the data that we have in the dashboard. They don't put filters or lenses on it at all. And the good news is with Spotify, they actually do share ad-supported versus premium. And I can report with great confidence that virtually every single artist I look at this dashboard and do the demo with, premium is overtaking as the top number, which means everyone's making a few more pennies, which is nice. It's pennies, but you're making more of them, which is awesome. So, but to be able to see that data is awesome to see where it's coming from, the free side or premium side. If you're lucky enough in that 7 other, it's not that we don't have them, they're all there. They're not allowing us to break it out. I can't even see it, but in that number is Apple, video, and audio. Tidal, video, and audio. Google, audio and video. They're all in there, and also Xbox. We also just finalized the deal. You'll have SoundCloud in here very soon. Napster's coming back. We'll have that in here soon. But if you're with one of those major distributors, we can actually break down for you, and you can see your Apple and your Google. They won't even let me see that, but they'll allow you, if you own the content and you're through those providers, you can see that for their DNA, which is awesome information to be able to see these days in a tax. Who's your premier partner that you're working with? And who's kind of driving? Who do you need to push more with? Who do you need to pick your socks up with and stuff like that? It really gives you an opportunity to plan what's happening. Let me go over here. Streaming program, very small in Canada. And to be clear, this is not internet radio. This is a streaming tether a stream playlist that you cannot skip like Slacker. So it serves it up like a radio station where you listen to that playlist, but you need to listen to it from start to finish. You cannot skip. That's really the difference between that. And like I said, there's only one current provider in Canada with Slacker. There's 2 old providers, if you can believe it. So we have historical data, Nokia being one of them, and I top of my head, I actually can't remember the other one, but there's really only one at this moment in time, and it's a very, very small piece of the pie for virtually every artist at this stage. Going down to AirPlay audience, this is where if you want to look at spins, this is once again the 30,000-foot view. Gives you an opportunity to kind of see what's going on via format with your artist, kind of at this period, over last period, and activity to date. We can drill deeper. It's called an insight report, which we will do, that goes, once again, I said, by station, by market, by day part, the whole 9 yards you can look at. There's a bit more information on the barcodes. You can expand it out. Gives you a bit more granular DNA on those barcodes. I can expand those one for you. It basically tells you what it is. We know that this is obviously a physical version of the record. And then once again, song level. This is actually a wonderful little report. You can get a quick top line overview. You expand the caret, gives you that top line overview of your song by each of the key metrics that we have. And another key factor, which is really good, it's hard to see this, but this says all ISRCs, and this is, oh, it's flicking all around on me here, an album only. And this is a key component here, especially for key award shows where a lot of albums will have different versions of songs. They're not on the original version of the album, but they exist. The Chainsmokers comes to mind where they have copious amounts of remixes. But for certain award show qualifications, only the material on the album qualify for awards. So this allows you to click on here with songs that are strictly associated with the album, as opposed to all the different remixes or radio mix or what have you that's available. So you can kind of cover between the two of them and see what your needs are. And once again, artist socials. This is the only global view we have in the dashboard. We basically have the API of these companies and we just pull their data feeds in. Wikipedia tends to come a day or so late from our cycle because they don't have the API. They actually send us the data, we put it in. And we've actually just since finalized a deal. Coming in here very shortly will be Instagram. We're also in conversations with our friends at Spotify and other on their followers for an artist playlist, but we'll have that in there. And this is, once again, meant to give you a quick snapshot as your artist trending up, trending down. You may have done a key, maybe you played the Disc Award show and you want to see what's going on. A week later you can kind of see, oh, we had some impact, this grew for us. Let me go back up. I'm sorry if I'm moving too quickly, please let me know and put a hand up and we can answer any questions. I'm going to show you the market level detail. Well, actually, and then I'll come back to a song real quick. So on the market level detail, we have all 72 CMA, Census Market Areas, in Canada. All of them are in here. You can hover over any one of them, but as you can see when you get down to, you know, into Quebec and into Southern Ontario, it's very congested. All CMAs are down below. All 72 of them are here, as you can see. You can re-sort them however you'd like, from the top, greatest, the smallest, the biggest, the smallest. And you can pick which metric you want to look at, basically. So we're looking currently at album totals. If we wanted to pick something else, airplay, digital songs, you pick what you want, album with TEAs, you pick the metric that you want. Coming in here very soon will be streaming. We will have market level streaming very soon. We have it in America, which I can show you, where the functionality is in the dashboard. We're literally just waiting for our partners at Spotify, Apple, and Google to change the reporting mechanism to us. Right now they send it to us on an aggregate total. They're changing their backend infrastructure to be able to report at a postal code or CMA level, so we'll have that very shortly. And once again, if you see a number in here, so for Bobby, on album with TEAs, if you see a number, this means that Bobby is the 29th best-selling album in Montreal subs, which is the 3rd biggest market in all of Canada. That's basically what that number means, and it caps out at 999. If you're anything below that, you don't see a number there. And that number will keep changing depending on the market that you pick on, the metric that you pick on. So that's a quick summary there. Charts. This is a handy little report, basically. It gives you a quick snapshot. We do the work for you. Instead of having to go back and research where did a song peak or what happened with it, we actually capture it for you kind of moving forward. We don't go back in time anymore, but we launched this in November, so kind of as of November, moving forward, we'll remember all your chart history and it'll all be in here for you, and it kind of tells you on the Billboard Canadian Albums chart, he's at 112 this week. He peaked at number 2. It's a weekly chart, and it's a consumption-based chart. So it allows you, once again, when you're maybe doing an overview or report or an application for funding, you can quickly go in here and see where your project peaked and what it was. And another key provider, and this will get more exciting when we get the local CMA level streaming, is this report. It goes by, once again, it's permission-based, but you can quickly see who your premier partners are. So if I go down here to, I just want to look at streaming on demand audio. That's all I care about. Now I can look and see who my premier partners are. And if you're lucky enough to be under one of those big distributors, you would see even further information here. Sorry, once again, I got to go over here. And you get a quick snapshot of who your premier partner is. So on this instance, you can see for Bobby Bazzini, Spotify is representing almost 70% of his streaming business. So you know where the others are coming from. It's coming from the combined efforts of Apple, Tidal, Google, etc. But if you saw the further DNA, you would know clearly where it comes from. And you could take this one of two ways. You can either go, let's keep going and drive Spotify. They're my premier partner. Oh, you know something? I need to figure out what I need to do with my friends at Google to get his volume up, get more playlisting going. But it gives you a real snapshot of where to navigate and where to go. So it's powerful information. And then I'll go back to the performance graph because an exciting feature that we have at the very end, depending on what you expanded, we have an export doc. Nice, clean, simple report that you can view, and it comes out very quickly, as you can see. It's there. Oh, there it is. Why is it not coming up?
I need to drag it.
I need to drag it over. Oh, this is going to confuse. I'm not good at the two-screen thing. I'm really sorry. How do I drag it over? I'm going to pass it over to you.
I'm also IT.
It's also IT.
Where is it? It's there.
Is it on Excel down below? If we hit it? Here. Okay, let's just come back to it. We'll come back to it at the end. I'll show everyone at the end because I don't want to mess it up any more than what I have here. Okay, let's just go back here now. And then real quick, I'm going to show you at a song level. I won't go into too much detail because everything's pretty much the same, but it allows you to really look at an ISRC level. There's your, currently Bobby has this. We'll go down here in the dashboard, and it'll show you all the various ISRCs that are registered for this song. At any moment you can expand to see what's going on with that, and then you can also search by the ISRC as well. I'm going to show you that up top here real quick because not everyone's associated with an album or an artist. You may just be representing a songwriter, and your songwriter has written a song for Bobby Bazzini or co-wrote, and you want to know what's going on. So you basically take your ISRC, and you can do this at a UPC level as well. So we go back to the home page here, and the only difference is you need to basically put an equal sign, and you know your ISRC or UPC, you put it in, and it'll find it for you. Sometimes that's what you have. So the key is, without that metadata information in our platform, we can't track your data. So there's myths out there that Nielsen charges and, you know, to register your content with us. That is not true whatsoever. We're absolutely free. We want all of your data registered with ourselves, whether it be for airplay, for sales, for consumption, all of the above. Because then once again, if we don't have it, it'll show zeros, and you're going to end up coming in and going, why is there no sales here? And I'm going to have to go back and go, well, you didn't register the content with us. So whether you're through Believe, Distribution, TuneCore, you know, whoever, they send it out to the partners report back into us. So just paramount, we need it registered, and it's a very simple process. I can get it through to Jerome so we can get it out to everybody so you can see what's going on there to make sure that it's there and you can track it properly. So another quick thing within here is charts, an abundance of charts in the dashboard. We have over 150 charts. It defaults to the Canadian Billboard's album chart, which is basically our new consumption chart. Why is it not? So basically what this does, so Drake's #1 right now, basically it takes that streaming, because we're at the album level, it takes those 42 million streams, divides it by 1,500 to get that metric down. It takes his digital single songs, 23,000, divides it by 10. It takes album sales as a whole, and then this spits out his number. So Drake is now the #1 album, consumption album, Billboard consumption album in Canada this week, around the world pretty much. And you can see his album sales are as a whole. That's just digital. He didn't even release physical yet on this thing. It's forthcoming. So other charts that we have in here, you can see there's a whole plethora of them down below. It's not letting me go. There we go. You can imagine there's just everything. It's just endless what we have, depending on the genre that you want to look at. If you're into, you know, it's for fun, we can look at country. If we want to see what the top country songs were for the week. And it goes to 200. I don't know why it's not showing. It's showing on my screen. It's not showing anymore down here. But each of the charts are pretty much top 200 deep. And at any point, you can search. You can start typing in, let's say, John Party. Oops. And it'll find your artist for you in there if you can't seem to locate them or what have. They're on the chart. So he's got 2 happens to be on this chart. Another great feature we have in the dashboard is, I told you, the international single sales. So you go to the digital song sales, and streaming is not too far behind it. We're going to have streaming in this metric as well for the global. So what you do is you go in, it'll always default to Canada, but you want to go in and see what the top digital single sales in France are. It'll recalibrate, and it shows up that Ed Sheeran, oh, here it goes, hold on a second. What's that? Oh, the week. Oh, yeah, it's because it's the weeks behind. Thank you, Chantale. We haven't got their current week data information in yet. Good. There it shows you what the top digital single sales were in France. And you can see 20 other marketplaces for that as well. And like I said, I get quite excited when we get the streaming data into this as well, which will really be another element into the dashboard. And then you can also look at song. You can do this by album or by song. You can look by, once again, it defaults to national. So we're looking at digital tracks right now. You can look at airplay or audience. And if you're interested in what was happening just in, I'm only worried about Montreal subs. All 72 CMAs are in this dashboard. Again, you can really drill down at a granular level what's happening on a regional level with it. So once again, Ed Sheeran seems to be #1 across the board. And then Clean Bandit's doing quite well with Chantale and Emery. Oops. And then I'm not going to go on the rank list. A very quick summary rank list is basically our charts have rules attached to them because we have a partnership with Billboard. So there's plenty of rules, age, depth, that come around making those charts official. The good news with something called a ranked list is you create your rules. You can throw all those chart rules out that were set by Billboard and Nielsen, and you just want to know what are the top most streamed songs. And I did that here, overall of everything in Canada. No rule attached to it. I can put another rule and I can look at just, genre. If I only want to look at the jazz genre. You pick, you decide what you want, and you can go up to 20,000 deep onto this if you really want to go deep. Basically, anything more than 500 gets emailed to you. And the email that's already set up with the dashboard, it gets emailed to you automatically. Up to 500, you can look at it right inside the dashboard. So a fun report, because not everything, once you get through all the big top guys, some stuff pops way down below and you might want to see what's going on, so you can filter just to jazz. You get a much better perspective because most jazz probably won't even hit the top 500 on some cases, but now you can have a pure look at a genre or a format, which is nice. And another one we have is something called a trend report. This allows you to look at up to 50 artists, 50 songs, or 50 albums of one. You can't cross them, it's one of each. So if you have a whole artist catalog, I did a temporary one here, and basically what you do is you pick the album that you want, or the song that you want. You pick your call, you pick the activity that you want to look at. You have abundance that you want to look at, so we can just pick all of them. So we can go in here and I did my friend Florence. Okay. So I pick up Florence, and I just want to look at all her different albums that I want to look at. So I select the ones that I want to look at. I add the songs down to the selected. I'm going to apply it. And then this is when you kind of go shopping, if you will. You pick what you want. It'll default to the current week and time. Right now, for this special report, we can go all the way back to week 1, 2012. Eventually, this will continue. Every 4 weeks, we update the platform. It takes us 4 weeks to put 1 year's worth of data into the archives. So the sales data goes all the way back on the main dashboard in 1996, but for special reports, we're kind of going a week, a year, and a month, basically. So we're at 2012 now. Next month, we'll be back to 2011, and so on, and so on, and so on, basically, eventually getting back to 1996, and the legacy system will cease to exist. So once we pick that, you can pick dynamic date, you can do a custom date range, you pick what you want. I'll just pick the last, or year to date, whatever you want. You can name the report. You can make it, if there's multiple people in your organization, say you're with a company and you have 5 IDs. You can actually have it in a way that you can have it just for your inbox, or you can unlock it to everyone in your business sector can see that report, which is a nice feature as well. And once again, you pick your activities. If you want airplay, you pick the summary of the reports you want. And you can pick summary or detailed. Summary is just top line. If I pick summary airplay, it'll give me a national number. If I want detail, it'll give me that detail by each marketplace. So it's really how deep you want the report to be in the data that you want, because it's a lot if you flag everything. And the keynote with airplay, if you pull this report up before our airplay, our charts don't cut off until Tuesday. So if you're pulling this report up on a Monday, you're going to have last week's radio information just due to the timelines of when our new radio charts cut off. So we just put that there as a reminder. And metadata, you pick all of it, or you pick the ones that you want in the report. And release age, same thing. Overall catalog, depending on what you're wanting to look at. Configuration, you pick what you want to look at. Genre, once again, same thing. They're all there. Or if you just want to pick your, we don't have core genre in Canada. In America, they have core genre. They drill down like rock by 5 other. It's crazy how far they go. We just have the main genres in Canada. And then your market summary, same thing. You just keep picking what you want. And we also have a layout preview. We got a couple of different scenarios for you to pick from. And you pick what you want. It gives you a quick snapshot of what it will look like. And then you pick the version that you want. So that kind of gives you what it would look like. Obviously, it's not the data. And then when you're done, if you're going to be looking at the same metrics over and over and over again, same markets, the only thing you're ever changing is the artist, you can set this as your default, which is a nice feature. So you don't have to go through again and set it all over again and like, oh man, I got to do this every time. No, you set it as your default and you go. And then once you do is you basically run the report. And when you're finished running the report, I got them Florence kind of all ready to go to save some time. We basically go to our content manager here. And I just open it and I view the report. Oh, I'm going to have that same problem again. We'll have to come back to that again. Sorry, everyone. We'll do that at the very end, I promise. Last but not least, is the insight report, and we can show all the reports at one time. Go back to the dashboard here. Actually, before I do the insight report, just do a quick thing. You do have, as I told you all along, favorites. Every time you're along, you can set a favorites up, and you can set your own favorite little bucket up, whatever you'd like. I set one up for APM at artist level. You pick what you want, and you can email it off each week. All the new information is updated in here each week, so you don't have to worry about looking for it again. You just save it. And at any moment, you can look at up to the last 50 releases you've looked at. So it kind of remembers, you don't have to worry about typing, you just go right back to that. And that remembers it across US and Canada if you have access to both. And then we also have in a comparison, I won't do it, but it's a handy little report that you can overlay, compare artists together at an album level, artist level, or a song level. So if you know, and it's also good for when you have a new release of the same artist, released an artist one last year, you got a new one coming out, you want to kind of overlay how it's trending over one another, over previous things, you can do that as well, which is a nice function. And then we also have industry data in here as well. It's all updated. We do trends, we do genres, and we have market data. And you can compare it against, once again, this is handy for just getting a state of the nation as to what's going on, and also I go back to when doing applications, you can kind of get a snapshot of what's happening, and you pick where you want to look at, this period versus last period, year to date. They're all available for you in here. All the markets are there. You can expand all or collapse all to see what you need. If you only want to look at Montreal, you can see what's happening with Montreal. And at some point here, once we get streaming will be one of the metrics you'll be able to see in here once we get the market level streaming data by sometime in Q2. So that's kind of the Cole's notes. I want to go back to this insight report because this is very good because songwriters, you get paid from airplay and sales, but this allows you to go a bit deeper in a report. So once again, you could name this report whatever you want. You call it. You can once again make it private or available to everyone. And then you go looking for your song basically is what you do. So I want to go look at Bobby Bazzini. Oh, if I spell his name right, that would even be better, wouldn't it? So I find the song that I would look at. I'm going to look at C'est la vie, the album. I'm going to add this selected. And I'm going to apply it. And now once again, this is where you go shopping, if you will. You now pick what format you want to look at. For the purpose of this, we'll select all of them. You pick, if none of them are applicable, you can unhighlight them, but we'll do all of them for the purpose of this. Once again, same thing as markets. It'll default to all of them. If you only care about a dozen markets, you can select those marketplaces that work for you. We'll keep all of them for the purpose of the demo. And once again, metrics, your different ability to see the data. Whoops. And these are the ones that you have activity. And once again, I can't stress streaming will click on here like it is in America very soon. You pick on what you want. The only one we don't automatically highlight is single sales. It's there more for a historical purposes. Not many single sales these days of physical single sales. But we have it there as an option if you want to collect it and select it. Yeah, helpful if you're looking at an older artist perhaps. And it always defaults to the current week in the dashboard. And then once again, you can save this as your default. You can actually set it as a scheduled report each week. If you want to have this emailed to you every Tuesday morning, I want to know what's going on with my song at radio and what's happening in the market, you set that up and it'll automatically email you that. You don't ever have to do it again. And then you basically go back in, you submit it into the content manager again. And I'll just cancel it real quick and go back to the content manager. I got Mr. Bobby ready to hear. We'll look at Bobby here. Where is it? And we'll come back. I think we could probably show reports now. So now that I think that's the essence of Music Connect, and then I'll show you just real quick before we show the reports. I'll show you the market level streaming information in the U.S. because we have it in the dashboard. I'll get rid of that for a second. I don't know if Bobby's got much going on. We'll just go to the charts. Oops. We'll go look at, let's see what's happening with Ed Sheeran. So we go into markets. There's all your over 200 CMAs in America. So basically it defaults to albums with TEAs and streaming on demand audio. That aggregates everything together. But I'm going to drop down just to streaming on demand audio now. And now, this is strictly streaming on-demand audio. So now you can see Ed Sheeran is the third most streamed artist in New York, the #1 market in America. And once again, all markets are down below, but this is what we will eventually see in the Canadian dashboard, that market level streaming data as well, which will be very handy, and all of us want it. So that's kind of the Cole's notes of the tour. Maybe we can get the reports up so I can show everyone the reports, and maybe while we're doing that, any questions from everyone? And sorry, it's kind of went a little quick trying to get through it. It's a lot to take in, and it's very robust platform that you can actually get lost in this. There's a copious amounts of data, but very good amount of data. And if you end up coming on board, and with the one other key factor is when the artist social stuff, if you go in and you don't see your artist stuff in there, it just means we haven't got it flagged properly. So it's just a matter of getting an email and we send it out, and we make sure that our team in America add that to the distro list or scrape list from our friends at Facebook, Wikipedia, and so on to have it populated. It takes about a week lag if it's not in the dashboard to put it in. So it's not that we don't want it or don't have it, it means we haven't been sent to us properly. So that's kind of the closed notes. Any questions at all while we try to get the reports up?
Very interesting. Thank you so much. Lots of insightful details, but I guess that's what you have to have.
Yes. And then we need to get
Alors, on remercie Paul Cheveux et Chantale Coulombe, bien sûr. Ils vous ont invité à leur poser des questions. Je ne vois plus le pied de micro, mais peut-être le micro est-il quelque part. Est-ce que vous avez des questions pour eux? Vous pouvez toujours vous déplacer et prendre le micro pour leur poser. Est-ce qu'il y a des questions à poser sur Nielsen Connect? It's already up and running, right?
Yeah, it's already up and running. We launched softly last August. We officially launched in November. And it's up now, active working, and every 4 to 6 weeks we actually have new features and new functionality that go into the dashboard. And that happens across both. It's one back-end platform now between the US and Canada. So it's great news is Canada, we tend to normally take a back seat sometimes. We no longer take a back seat. We're in the driver's seat, passenger seat with our friends in America, which is nice to see. So we come along for the ride on all the new enhancements, from that data to the reporting functionalities. It's all, every 4 to 6 weeks it gets updated. And then we are also, Jerome and I are just trying to finalize it all right now, but we're happy to report we will be having a trial for some APEM members. We're just finalizing it now, and an email will go out to a number of individuals to take advantage of a 30-day trial to be able to get into it. And then after that 30-day trial, we can kind of talk individually as to what we can do in next steps if there's interest there. But I think that's a great thing that Jerome's doing for the membership base here.
Donc, pour ceux qui n'auraient pas saisi, donc c'est un essai de 30 jours dont vont pouvoir bénéficier les membres de l'APEM en se rendant auprès de Jérôme ou d'Isabelle Beaubien. Vous avez vraiment 2 choses importantes à retenir aujourd'hui, les billets pour le cocktail et trouver Isabelle Beaubien. C'est vraiment ça, là, si vous avez ça, vous avez tout. Donc, bref, renseignez-vous auprès d'Isabelle pour justement pouvoir bénéficier de ces 30 jours d'essai de Nielsen Music Connect. Donc, est-ce qu'il y a des questions?
Oh, je croyais qu'il y avait une question, mais il n'y a pas de question.
Il n'y a pas de questions dans la salle? De toute façon, vous aurez toujours le loisir, comme on l'a dit plus tôt, de pouvoir vous rendre auprès des conférenciers, d'aller leur poser des questions, peut-être un petit peu plus particulières, un peu plus spécifiques à votre situation. Il n'y a pas de problème. Je pense que tout le monde est là une bonne partie de la journée avec nous, jusqu'au cocktail en tout cas. Hein? Vous aurez compris que c'est à 16h que ça se passe. Donc, bref, merci infiniment. Thank you very much.
Quick question here.
Was there a quick question?
She had one real quick. Before I do, we actually, Jerome will get an email. We're actually going to be hosting, one thing, because this went very quickly, on April 11th, we're going to host kind of a 101 webinar that we will send an email invite out that everyone can come to kind of get another snapshot, look at again. And I've got a handful of meetings already that I'm going to be meeting with people. I got a couple of slots left. If you're interested, just maybe grab Chantale and myself as we're walking out, that we can do a little kind of one-on-one presentation. So you'll get that email invite, and you'll hear from Jerome soon on the demo. And there was a question on price. There's not one standard price. The good news is what I can say is back in the day, Nielsen, with their legacy systems, I'll be quite candid, it was very expensive, and it was really only the big majors could afford to play in the sandbox. Most recently, I came from the indie side of things, so I understand, budgets are difficult, and not everyone can afford that. So we're scaling the access now. It's not one size fits all. It used to be one size fits all. I'm throwing that out, I'm kind of rewriting the playbook. get to play the new guy card a couple of times at the company. So I think it's very important for everyone to have access to data. You should not just be waiting for you to get sent an email report from your publisher, from your distributor, from what have you. You should be able to get in. Yes, you get paid from them. You should be able to get in and see what's going on. So it's not one size fits all, depending on your need. If you only want Canada, you don't want all the reporting function. It's kind of, I don't want to chalk it up to being like a car, but there's the Cadillac with all the options. That's obviously always more expensive. But if you only need Canada only or US only, you don't care about the functionality, it's very scalable and it's not one size fits all for everyone. I truly want to be able to customize access because every company is a bit bigger in sales. Some have much greater revenue they're driving, some are mom and pop operations. So no two should pay the exact same. So that long story short, and those would be private conversations we ended up having after the 30-day trial that we ended up finalizing with Jerome. Cool.
Donc, c'était une question sur les prix. Est-ce qu'il y a d'autres petites questions avant qu'on fasse une petite pause? Donc, pour le midi, merci encore à nos conférenciers, donc Paul Shaver et Chantale Coulombe de Nielsen Music Connect.
Merci beaucoup.